All right, who are you?
Hi, my name is Dave Eames, and I'm an artist here in Lee Summit, Missouri.
All right, so what exactly do you do as an artist?
Well, I work in all kinds of materials and mediums, everything from graphic design to illustration. And right now we're in my metal shop where I do all kinds of sculptural work and architectural metal.
So when did you start your career as an artist?
Well, I started professionally about 25 years ago when I got out of school, but I worked a whole lot before then, even when I was in high school, and before that, creating illustrations and drawings for different publications. But when I got out of school, I worked in newspapers for a while as an artist, and now I've got my own studio here where I do all this work.
Okay, so you worked at the Kansas City Star for a little over 20 years. What was that like?
Oh, it was a great job. I loved it. It was an amazing job for an artist because not only did you get to learn all kinds of different things each and every day, you had a good deadline that forced you to work fast and efficiently. And for most of us who are procrastinators, it helped to have that daily deadline. But it was great. You know, you work around people that are really smart and know all kinds of neat stuff, and it's just a great place to be. I really enjoyed it.
And what exactly did you do at the KC Star?
I
What was
did
your
everything
official?
from design the pages, which is kind of how the newspaper looks, to I do illustrations and informational graphics, which are like diagrams and maps, things that explain stories. Um, a little bit of everything. You know, I typically worked into the evenings because that's when the newspaper is put together. So, you know, I wouldn't get into work till 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which gave me the time during the first part of the day to work on my own business and have my own studio here.
All right, so you recently left the Kansas City Star about a year ago. Now, why did you leave a semi-stable job to become self-employed?
Well, the economics of the newspaper business have changed a lot in the last 10 years with the advent of all the news services online and classified ads online. It's taken a lot of the money away from what newspapers used to rely on. So we started to have lots of financial troubles at the paper, and I knew it was just a matter of time before I'd either get laid off or asked to take a buyout. Um, so for years before that, since I'd been building my own studio, I sort of had planned for the day that I'd be able to walk away on my own terms and have my own business. And luckily, that things worked out to where that could happen a little over 2 years ago. And it was hard to leave a job that, you know, I had a paycheck every 2 weeks, and I knew everybody there, and it's very comfortable to come in every day and kind of know what you're doing. It's tough to leave that to come into something that's much more of an unknown. Like, where's my next piece of work going to come from? Where's my next paycheck going to come from? All of a sudden, you're in charge of everything you do and responsible for all of it. So, but I've been thinking about it for years. So it wasn't like I was thrown completely into the deep end. I prepared for it.
So, how did your decision from leaving the Kansas City Star affect you?
Well, it affected me in lots of ways, lots of big ways, in fact. Uh, First of all, it gave me a lot more freedom with my own schedule in life, so I was able to do things that I never could when I worked at night at the paper. All of a sudden, I could go to practices and plays and after school events that I used to not be able to attend. But it also just opened up a whole world of opportunity for me to meet other small business owners and take part in committees and groups that are important to me for our city and our neighborhood. So it was just it helped me be more involved in everything about our community and family, which turns out is one of the most important things to me in terms of how I feel.
Were you worried that this decision might backfire?
Not really. I mean, I thought, you know, I knew about the potential pitfalls and some things that could happen in terms of, well, what happens if the economy gets bad, or what happens if no one contacts me to do work for them. But I always in the back of my mind thought, you know, if this doesn't happen, I'm going to do this, or if that doesn't happen, I'm going to do this. Um, you know, it's not like I had a clear blueprint, but I just knew that there wasn't just one path to being successful. So I was prepared to stray from my path if I needed to be successful.
Now, what can you attribute this success to?
Well, I think a lot of it, for most of us in life, I mean, a lot of it is just the right place at the right time. There's a little bit of luck involved. There's a tremendous amount of connections and networking that is important to be successful, really, in any line of work. Um, it's making friends. It's joining organizations and committees, letting people know what you do. Those are all important elements beyond just the skill or the experience somebody might have. It's all of that sort of relationship stuff that is really, really crucial to be a successful small business.
All right. And so, how important is art to you?
Well, art's critical to me. I mean, it's everything. I think about it all the time. It's a huge part of my life. I try to surround myself with it. It's a fascinating thing to think about. It's a very hard word to define. Um, Art to me just can come in a myriad of forms and be done by virtually anybody with the ability. We all can be an artist, and some of us just work a little harder at it. We have a little motto here in our studio called "Let Art Play a Part," and the whole idea behind that is just that art should permeate and be a part of everyone's lives, no matter what they do or who they are or where they live.
All right. Now, you said that it's hard to define art. So, how exactly would you define art?
Again, I think art is a creative expression from humans. It's music and it's visual arts and it's theater. It's all of those things that can be defined in the dictionary. But I also think it's more than that because people that have no training are able to make a drawing on the wall of their house, or they can make a pot out of mud next door, or they can pick up a paintbrush for the first time and try watercolor. And that's no different in the expression of art than somebody who is world famous. The difference sometimes is their skill and their acumen with it, but the notion that art has to be at a certain level is something I don't respond to. I feel like art can happen from the youngest child up to the oldest person, and it's such an individual thing that I try my best to appreciate it in all forms.
Now, how has art shaped your other philosophies on life?
Well, it shaped it a lot because I think art is a fundamental part of the human experience. So therefore, whether it's from a social side of things, the political side of things, art has to be a part of that. And I'm a firm believer in surrounding ourselves with beauty and expression, and those are things that shouldn't be eliminated due to cost cutting or people's philosophy. Okay then.